3 months ago, I was the woman nobody in that building looked at twice. I emptied trash cans. I ran errands nobody else wanted to run. People called me the cleaner like it was my name. They didn't know my real name, and most days I didn't think they needed to. Then one Tuesday night, I found the richest man in that building sitting alone on the floor of his own office, in the dark, with his $3,000 suit jacket thrown over a chair like garbage. He wasn't drunk. He wasn't angry. He was just empty. I didn't know it yet, but that night was the beginning of the end of his old life, and somehow I was standing in the middle of it. This is a true story. Some details have been changed to protect the people involved, but everything that matters, every single word, happened exactly the way I'm about to tell you. His name was Richard Holloway. If you worked in that building, you knew the name before you ever saw the face. Holloway Capital took up the top 4 floors of a glass tower downtown, and Richard's office was on the very top, the one with the wraparound windows where you could see the whole skyline like it belonged to him. And in a way, it did. People assumed Richard built that empire from nothing. The press loved that story, self-made man, brilliant strategist, the kind of name they put on magazine covers next to words like visionary. Nobody ever mentioned that the seed money, the original $12 million that started Holloway Capital, came from his wife's family. The Whitfield name, old money, the kind of family that doesn't show up in headlines because they don't need to. Eleanor Whitfield Holloway was beautiful in the way magazines are beautiful, flawless, polished, untouchable. She married Richard when he was 26 and broke, and everyone in her world said she was settling. Her family gave him the money to start his company, not out of belief in him, but because it kept him close, kept him controllable, kept him grateful. For 15 years, Richard built that gratitude into an empire worth $400 million. And for 15 years, Eleanor made sure he never forgot whose money started it. I didn't know any of this when I started working there. I just knew Mr. Holloway was a boss everyone feared and nobody really saw. He moved through the building like weather. You felt him before you saw him, and you got out of the way. My name is Maria. I was 31 years old, recently separated, raising my 9-year-old son alone, and grateful, genuinely grateful, for a cleaning job that let me work nights so I could be home when my son woke up for school. I wasn't looking for anything. I definitely wasn't looking for him. But somewhere along the way, Richard Holloway started noticing the one person in his building who never once asked him for anything. It started small. He'd forget his lunch. His assistant would be gone for the day. Someone would say, "Get the cleaner to run it over," like I was furniture with legs. I didn't mind. A job is a job, and errands paid the same as mopping floors. The first time I actually spoke to him directly, I'd brought him a coffee order that his assistant had gotten wrong 3 times that week. I set it on his desk without a word, the way I'd been trained to, invisible, efficient, gone before anyone noticed you were there. "Wait," he said. I stopped. "You're the one who keeps fixing Diane's mistakes," he said. It wasn't a question. I just bring what I'm told to bring, sir. He looked at me for a second too long. "What's your name?" In 4 years of working in that building, no one above the rank of supervisor had ever asked me that. "Maria," I said. "Thank you, Maria." He said it like he meant it, like it cost him something to say it out loud in front of people who'd spent 15 years training him not to. I went back to my car and didn't think much of it. Rich men say thank you sometimes. It doesn't mean anything, but he started saying it every time. And then he started remembering things, that my son liked a particular brand of cereal I'd mentioned once in passing, that I took the 9:15 bus, that I always declined when the office ordered food because I was saving the money for something else. He never asked why. He just noticed. Like noticing people was something he used to know how to do and had forgotten, and being around me was teaching him again. I told myself it meant nothing. He was a billionaire. I emptied his trash can. Whatever was happening, it wasn't going anywhere, and I wasn't foolish enough to let myself hope it would. It was a Tuesday in October when I found him on the floor. I'd come in to clean the executive floor at 11, same as always. Most nights, his office was empty by 9. That night, the light was still on, and when I knocked and got no answer, I opened the door to check, and there he was, sitting on the floor with his back against his desk, his tie loosened, his jacket thrown over a chair, staring at nothing. "Mr. Holloway?" He looked up at me like he was surfacing from somewhere very deep. "Maria, sorry, I didn't realize how late it was." I should have apologized and left. Instead, I asked, "Are you okay?" He laughed, but it wasn't a real laugh. "I just found out my wife has been seeing someone for the past year. A man named Sebastian, 34 years old. Apparently he's..." Richard gestured vaguely at himself. "Apparently I'm too old for her now. Too old, too boring, too tired." I didn't know what to say, so I said nothing, which I've learned is usually the right choice. "You know what the worst part is?" he said. "Everyone in that family has known for months. Her brother knew. Her mother knew. I'm the last person in my own life to find out anything about my own life." "I'm sorry," I said, because it was true and because there wasn't anything else true to say. He looked at me then, really looked, the way he had that first day with the coffee. "Why are you still here? It's almost midnight. Don't you have a son to get home to? My neighbor's watching him, and you look like you needed someone to not leave the room." Something shifted in his face. I don't know how else to describe it. Like he'd spent 15 years being looked at by people who wanted something from him. His money, his name, his approval, and he'd forgotten what it felt like for someone to just stay. "Sit down," he said. "Please." I sat down on the floor of a billionaire's office in my cleaning uniform at midnight, and for the first time since I'd started working there, Richard Holloway talked to me like I was a person and not furniture. He told me everything that night. About the marriage that had been a transaction since the day it started. About 15 years of being reminded in 100 small ways that none of it, the company, the building, the name on the door, was really his. About how Eleanor's family had started referring to him at dinners as the help that worked out and laughing like it was a joke he was supposed to find funny too. I didn't say much. I just listened, the way I'd wish someone had listened to me during my own divorce, when everyone around me was too busy giving advice to actually hear what I was saying. When I finally left at 1 a.m, he walked me to the elevator. At the door, he said, "Thank you for staying." "You don't have to thank me every time," I said. "I know," he said. "I want to." After that night, things were different, though neither of us said so out loud. He started staying later, and I started noticing that I wasn't in a hurry to finish the executive floor before I got to his office. We'd talk for 10 minutes, sometimes 20, about nothing important. My son's school project, a book he was reading, the way the city looked from his window at night versus during the day. Small things, the kind of things you only talk about with someone you're not performing for. I want to be honest about something, because this story is a fairy tale, and I won't pretend it was simple. I knew exactly what people would say if they found out that I was after his money, that I'd planned it, that a cleaner doesn't end up talking to a billionaire at midnight by accident. I thought about that almost every night on the bus home. I thought about it enough that twice I almost asked to be reassigned to a different floor. But here's the truth. Richard Holloway, with $400 million in name on a glass building, was lonelier than anyone I had ever met. And I had spent 2 years being lonely in a marriage that looked fine from the outside and was empty on the inside. We recognized something in each other that had nothing to do with money at all. The divorce papers came through in December. Eleanor didn't fight him on the settlement. She didn't need to. Her family's lawyers had structured the original investment 15 years earlier in a way that meant the bulk of Holloway Capital's value legally traced back to Whitfield money. Richard had built the empire with his hands, his strategy, his 15 years of 18-hour days. But on paper, in the eyes of the law, almost none of it was really his to keep. He told me this on a Friday night, sitting on the same floor where I'd found him in October. "I'm going to walk away with almost nothing," he said. "After 15 years, after everything I built. I'm 41 years old, and I'm about to start over whatever's in my personal checking account. How do you feel about that?" I asked. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said something I've never forgotten. "Lighter," he said. "I feel lighter than I felt in 15 years. By February, it was final. Richard Holloway, the man whose name had been on magazine covers, moved out of the 11,000 square foot mansion in the hills and into a one-bedroom apartment 6 blocks from my building. Not because he was forced to. The settlement would have let him keep a modest house if he'd fought for it. He chose the small apartment. He told me he didn't want a single thing from that life that reminded him of who he'd been pretending to be for 15 years. People in the office had theories, of course. Some said he'd lost everything in a bad investment. Some said Eleanor had ruined him out of spite. Nobody guessed the real reason. Because nobody was looking for it, he wasn't running from failure. He was running towards something simpler. The first time he invited me and my son over to that small apartment, he cooked dinner himself, badly, he'd admit, laughing about it, in a kitchen the size of his old office bathroom. My son, who'd never once been impressed by Richard's old money or his old title, was completely won over by a man who let him win 3 games of checkers in a row and didn't pretend it wasn't on purpose. Richard once told me that the 11,000 square foot mansion had never once felt like home in 15 years. The one-bedroom apartment, with second-hand furniture and a window that looked out at a brick wall instead of a skyline, felt like the first home he'd ever actually chosen for himself. I had everything, he told me one night, and none of it was mine. Now I have almost nothing, and somehow, for the first time, all of it is. People ask me sometimes if I regret it. Staying that night, sitting on that floor, letting myself care about him and everyone assumed was untouchable. They asked if it was worth losing the easy assumptions people had about me, the whispers, the looks. Here's what I tell them. I didn't fall for a billionaire. The billionaire part was the thing he eventually gave away. I fell for a man who, even with everything stripped down to almost nothing, chose to stay kind, chose to stay honest, and chose every single day to keep choosing me, not because of what I could give him, but because I was the only person in 15 years who never wanted anything from him at all. Richard Holloway lost an empire, but for the first time in his life, he says he finally has something real. And so do I. If this story moved you, you're not alone, and there are more stories like this one waiting for you. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.